about 9:45. I woke up, I think about 9:30. Genuinely, I cannot remember. And I have had some weird as anything dreams. I mean, even by my standards, I'm waking up this morning going, what the heck was that all about? I'm sitting here in my nightwear, which is basically just a very big, oversized baggy t-shirt, and I'm quite cold. I know if I go back to bed now to warm up, I will fall back asleep. So it's probably best I get on and get into the shower. But after I finish watching this particular podcast. So after sending James off with a buff yesterday, I thought, I know, I will share the rest of my buff collection today, because I have more than one. There's one that's gone missing, and it's really, really bugging me where it's got to. It can't have gone far, because I wore it back at the beginning of the year in January, and for ages it was kicking around in the bathroom. I think I'd taken it off to get into the shower or something, I can't remember. And then I decided I was going to take it and wash it. I suspect it depends on who put it away after it was washed, because I would have put it in one place. James, I suspect, would have put it somewhere else. You know, he puts things where he thinks they should go. I put them where I think they should go. And those two places are not necessarily the same places. I've been through my drawers and my cupboards. I say drawers, they're actually boxes. But I've gone through my cupboards and I've found technical wicking tops, running tops that I've forgotten I ever owned. I found a pair of pyjamas that a pyjama top, which I thought had gone permanently missing. I found my tabby socks from when I went to Japan, which I'd forgotten I had. There's all sorts of stuff I have found, but not the thing I'm looking for. And this is why I love YouTube. I've had a look for masks to see if anybody's got any tutorials, any tips, any tricks, any patterns, and there are bucket loads of videos, as you may expect. James is a glasses wearer, so I suspect he is going to be happier with this style of mask rather than the surgical style of mask. And so I've looked up this particular tutorial. It looks really simple. I've got the fabric for it, so that's what I'm going to be doing this afternoon. So this is the bag of stuff that I think I inherited from my mother, which was in the big box with my fabric stash. As I was going through it yesterday with James to find colours for him for potential masks, pulled it out because of all the elastic in there. Going through it earlier today, I found at the bottom, which I hadn't really paid attention to or realised was there, with this blue bias binding. So everything's going to go everywhere in a minute if I'm not careful. Anyway, so the other day when I was doing the online haberdashery orders, I was looking for blue bias binding to go with the stripy bag, just in case it was needed to cover raw edges and, you know, make things look pretty when actually they were a bit of a bodge job. And I couldn't find it. I couldn't find what I was looking for. Oh no, I lie. I found some. It was out of stock. I'm not sure the dark blue would necessarily work. Is that dark blue? Royal blue? But this one kind of does. I'm not sure how well it's being picked up on the camera. But actually those two sort of go together. Actually, maybe that one goes better because it kind of picks up on that dark blue stripe there. But anyway, I now have blue bias binding, which I didn't realise I had, and it could potentially be used in my bag making, and I'm very happy. I've just realised, if I am right, and my goodness, I hope I am, it's in this bag, which is left over from when we did our virtual briefing weekend, and I was making a video about swapping stuff. Yes! I found it! Oh, happy, happy Liz. There does seem to be a bit of a 6 o'clock theme going on at the moment, because it's just before 6 o'clock. I have found the buffs, all of my buffs that I own, that may or may not be making an appearance during the COVID lockdown, but it kind of isn't because the government doesn't want to take responsibility for actually telling people what to do. and then blaming it on the public rather than acknowledging any kind of responsibility when things go wrong and people carry on getting ill. So this is in no particular order. This is just what's on my knee in the order I've picked it up. This one is from Breeze. Oh, you can see that at the top. So Breeze is a programme run by British Cycling. It's a female-only, women-only cycle rides. So each ride has a leader who is somebody who has done training, which I think includes bike maintenance and mechanics, definitely includes first aid. I imagine it would involve road safety and general leadership stuff. So every trip that you go on, you start by checking your bike, making sure the gears are in order, that the tyres are pumped up properly. And then you go on a ride for an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, whatever, with a leader. And most rides kind of have a focus or a theme to them. But each year, Breeze do a thing called Breeze Through Winter. And if you go on a certain number of bike rides, you get a reward of some sort. So not last year, possibly the year before, or maybe even the year before that, I've totally lost. No, it must have been. It was whilst I was still working in central London. So over 2 years ago, whatever winter 2 years ago was, that was it. 2018 must have been 2018. Maybe even 2017. I'm just saying words now. Anyway, a few years ago, I did the Breeze Through Winter. I went on 5 or 6, I think, possibly. I can't remember. Maybe it was 3 or 4. But this buff was one of the rewards, one of the gifts I got as a result. It's quite nice. They don't give these to the boys. This is just for the girls. Next one I have on my pile is this one, which I bought for cycling. Oh, good Lord, that's quite bright. So yeah, as well as being Dayglow orange, Dayglow yellow, these silvery bits are light reflective. So it's kind of a safety thing that if you have this round your neck, the light bounces off you and motorists, in theory, can see you. This is the one I was looking for earlier. This was a swap at the World Scout Route in 2017 from a friend of mine from the Austrian contingent. So yeah, you see the Austrian flag there, and that badge there was their contingent badge. I genuinely cannot remember what I swapped for this, but this is what I received in return. This one, I was going to say this is the only one I've bought, and that's not actually correct. This one I bought in Iceland, which, let's be fair, is ridiculous because prices in Iceland are so much more expensive than they are in the UK. However, this one I bought on the first day in Reykjavik. So I went to Reykjavik a day before I needed to be there. I can't remember why. I think just because I wanted a day in Reykjavik. But on the first day, I went to a museum about the Vikings. Could even be called the Viking Museum. I'll have to look it up. But in it, they had film and video relating to the beginning of Iceland as a country and as a people, and how the government and the history of the country started. But it included a lot of volcanoes, which they had beautiful videos of these volcanoes all in kind of reds and purples and oranges, which absolutely matches the patterns on the side here. Now, I don't know if that is supposed to be a picture of a fire or not, but it looks enough like a fire to me. Actually, particularly if you put it that way, that looks just like a volcano. Look, how could it be anything other than a volcano? I'm talking rubbish here. So that I bought as a souvenir of my trip to Iceland, just because I love the colours and the sort of the heat and the fiery and whatnot. And my final one, oh no, actually it's not, it's my penultimate one. I have got another one, but I really don't know where that one is. This one came from the World Scout Jamboree in 2011 in Sweden. So if you see, it's got little symbols on the side of it. These are all symbols relating to activities on the camp. There were 10 of them in total. The music, actually no, I'm not sure if it's the same on the front or on the back. That one I can't remember. Obviously a boat, music, peace. Those are moose antlers there. Tent. You need them when you're camping. No, that's not a tent. Those are the tents. Trees. Anyway, there was one which was dark blue with light blue symbols on, which sort of seemed to be the official proper colours of the camp, but those had sold out by the time I'd gone. I went to the shop, so I bought this one, and I also have another one which is orange background with the white symbols on it, which is still in its plastic wrapper. My idea being that I was going to use it when this one got lost or too dirty or fell apart or anything. I did nearly lose it once. I think it was during the Olympics. I was wearing a hoodie or a jumper or something. I had this on round my neck, took the jumper off, this came with it, and I didn't realise, and I thought for a moment that I'd lost it, but I hadn't. So that is my collection of buffs, which may or may not be making a fashion parade around the town centre should I need to go out. It's now about 6:30. I'm getting around to making masks. I was going to say badges, not badges, masks. I found a tutorial online which looks quite simple. Basically draw around a plate, cut it up, sew it together. My plan, which probably isn't going to happen because it's going to take longer than I'd allowed for it, but my plan was to make the mask up to a point, and then when James gets back have a discussion with him about elastic and fitting, because I don't want to make it without him being here, then find out it doesn't fit and have to redo it or unpick bits and pieces. So I think I can get it to a particular point, and then after that find out from him what he wants me to do and how it all goes together. I'm going to start with using this fabric. Hold it that side so my face doesn't get whatever that word is, shadowed. Thank you. I'm going to use this, A, because I have bucket loads of it, and B, because pattern matching on the tartan is going to be a whatnot. I've watched enough episodes of The Sewing Bee to know that you have to have pattern matching. Once I've done one in the blue, I'm probably more happy and more confident to try one of the tartan fabrics, but to start with, it's going to be nice simple blue. I knew my camp plate had to be useful for something. This is some of the fabric I ironed earlier, because it's quite late at night. I've got the flash on. As you can see, or should be able to see, it's not perfectly ironed. It's still got creases in it because it's cotton and it's just a horrible, horrible fabric for creases. So I'm hoping that by leaving it on the drying rack overnight, that will help some of the creases to drop out. Fingers crossed. But when I do come around to use it, hopefully tomorrow, chances are I'm going to have to give it another iron, possibly with the mister spray, just to get all of the creases out before sewing. I made a mask. Admittedly, it's not for me, it doesn't fit perfectly, but it is still a mask. James declined my advice on having 2 elastic straps on this. The next one I make, he's asked for 2 elastic straps just to try and make it fit better. I knew this wasn't going to be a perfect fit when I made it. That's fine. I would much rather he had something than nothing. And this is something he has. Tomorrow I will probably try making a new one and playing around with different shapes and designs and stuff. Because yeah, James being a glasses wearer, this isn't perfect, but that's fine. Also, I found another bit of sewing kit I never knew I needed. So I was sewing this evening in the dark, blue fabric, or blue thread up against blue fabric, and I couldn't quite see what I was doing. I was like, haha, but I have a head torch. So actually, oh no, hold on. If I'd put it on the right way round, this tilts. So you can sit there, have light directly on the work where you are, and it doesn't matter if you're sitting in a dark corner of the room, you can still see what you're doing. So that's a win. James got back at about 9:30. He ordered pizza because he was hungry. So that's breakfast for tomorrow sorted. But before that, I need to go to bed. I'll see you then. I mean, tomorrow, not in bed. It's been a long day.